I did that before the call because I don't like to get tied up during the call and get bumped off because my computer's too busy.
Okay. Okay, Tom, this Pat. How many?
Hi, Patrick. Hi. I heard the call was Chris. It's very enlightening. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know. Is he on the line?
He doesn't seem to be here right now.
Yeah, he's going to try and get on here. Now, hopefully, the people really want to know, basically, you're on this call. Okay?
Yeah.
Found out some very interesting things this week. That basically, when you are coming in and standing as the living person, they can't deal with you. Okay? All the apostilles that I sent to the state of Iowa, Secretary of State, I got those all back with the money orders. The one I sent to the judge, Chief District Judge, I got that back for the United States District Court. He even gave me a compliment, in a way, in the document. The big thing here is that they can only deal with the fictions. Yeah, all of these courts, every one of them out here, they can only deal with the fiction. Now, one of the key things is you have to stop being a representative for the fiction. You become the representative for the fiction, and you basically are now placing yourself into an obligatory position for that fiction. So you never sign as authorized representative for them. Okay, that's the deception that basically was all on that check, everything, to try and get you into being the obligatory person. And that if the check bounced, then basically they would revert back to you, the living. Okay? Instead of going after the fictional count that they should have been going after, that's being held in a mortgage pool with the Secretary of or the State Attorney General at your birthing state, or if you've got other constructive mortgages at that state level, the state that you're living in. I'm going to run through a bunch of words that people need to go through, okay? And we basically, all of these items that we have done, the conveyances, from the grantor to the grantee, have been quit-claim mortgages, deeds. Quit-claim mortgage deeds. Okay? So, the quit-claims have already been in place. What we have to do to get the quit-claims, the deeds, back from the grantee and return to the grantor is do a reconveyance. Or a resurrender, the reconveyance of copyhold land to the mortgage or upon the payment of the mortgage debt. Now, in a lot of cases, these mortgages are all a fraud. Okay? in the book of Joshua, I think it was chapter 17, talked about the guy that came into Egypt and basically started setting up being a mortgagor, okay, at the cemetery gate. He basically placed fraudulent mortgages upon the people. They either paid $200 or 200 whatever shekels or whatever it was to have their dead buried. If they didn't have the 200, then they got under a mortgage debt to make the payment. And that was how the first Pharaoh came about in Egypt. And see, that's what they've done here, is all of this is about a mortgage. Now, a mortgage is nothing more than a dead pledge. It's a pledge to bury the dead. In a way, when you look at it. And like I told you, never sign as a representative for the fiction, for the grantor or the grantee. You come in and you will sign on his behalf. For him and as authorized by him. On his behalf. You have two fictions, okay? You have a good thief and you have a bad thief. And basically, both of them are half an ass. So, that's where it comes in, on his behalf. On his half-ass, you're signing. Either the left half of the ass or the right half of the ass. The good thief is on the right hand, or the right section of the ass. The bad thief is on the left side. That's normally the way they have it on all contracts out here. And these fictions are things, inanimate objects. And so, basically, everything that is going on is in REM. In REM. Against a thing, not against a person. Concerning the condition or status of a thing. That's what in REM stands for. So when they go into court, it is in REM against the thing, against the account, not against the living person. You have to basically give over the jurisdiction to them to access the account. That's all they're waiting for, is you to give the proper jurisdiction for them to access the account. So you go into in REM, you can look up in REM action, and then basically it talks about see quasi in REM action. You got quasi in REM action, then you've got judgment quasi in REM, and you got jurisdiction quasi in rem. Judgment quasi in rem, a judgment, the object of which is to determine as between particular persons the title to particular property or the right to possession of particular property or subject concerning property of a particular person to the payment of a particular obligation of such person, either because such personal obligation is secured by a lien on the property or because jurisdiction over the person of the obligator cannot be acquired. It's an insurance policy, like the traffic tickets. You have to release them to basically draw against that insurance policy, that mortgage insurance policy. So you sign in his behalf, on his behalf. Now, you can look up all of those. Then basically, legal right of redemption. The right of a mortgagor in a jurisdiction where the mortgage has the effect of vesting title in the mortgagee to pay the mortgage debt and thus avoid the effect of the mortgage as a transfer of title. Okay? You need to look that one up, and all these were out of Ballantyne's. Bring them out, okay? Separate them out of the dictionary. Put them down on a piece of paper. And then start highlighting certain words in there. Like mortgagor, mortgagee. And when you start putting all these words together, then you can start seeing what is really going on. But if you try and look at the whole dictionary at one shot, you're not going to be able to do that. Vesting order, an order or decree of a court of equity transferring title to land. Vestiture, to vest or invest, as with title. Reversion, a future estate in real, either real or personal property arising from, by operation of law, to take effect in possession in favor of a grantor, leaseor, or transferor, mortgagor, and that's what you were. You were the transferor to the grantor. The grantor turned around under this quick claim deed and basically gave it over to, or had this false, this fraudulent, constructive transfer over to the grantee. Now, the grantee is the one that the name is in the all capital letters. He's dead. So it's a dead pledge. Tombstone. We said this before, but it's the grantee, not the grantor, who is dead. The grantor just messed up by giving it over to the grantee, to the dead, with that quick claim. But now your dead you're going to be signing on his behalf and basically doing a reconveyance back to the grantor of that fraudulent deed. That fraudulent quick claim mortgage deed. Okay? Demise. Demise. Look that one up. Device. I know everybody knows what a device is. Device. Something ingeniously conceived and skillfully made. But that's not the end of it. Especially something whereby to work a trick or perpetrate a fraud. That certificate of live birth was a device to perpetrate a fraud. The driver's license was a device to perpetrate a fraud. The certificate of title to the vehicle was a device to perpetrate a fraud upon you. You don't need them. That's basically what the Secretary of State and basically the district court chief judge were telling me. I don't need them. That's what the bankruptcy judge down in South Carolina told the guys down there. You don't need me. You can do this yourself. And that's what we have to do. Because, see, the Secretary of State for my apostilles, they did not accept my ecclesiastical notary. They can only deal with a public notary, a notary of the dead. They can't deal with a notary of the living. Now, what I sent to the chief judge, he went a little bit further. He knew that basically I was trying to claim these items by quit claim. I was doing the opposite of what I should have been doing. I should have been doing a reconveyance of the quit claim from the grantee back to the grantor, because the quit claim had already been done. And then, basically, when we get it back to the grantor, then the grantor is going to do a reassignment back to us as the original transferor. Reassignment. An assignment made by an assignee, and basically that's the name that's on the top of your certificate of live birth, is the assignee. An assignment made by the assignee of an insurance policy. Also, an assignment by an assignee back to the assignor. And so he's going to do a reassignment back to us as the assignor, because we were the initial one to make the transfer. It's a retransfer, and then it says, see, reassignment. And these were all set up in a constructive manner in fraud. Okay? A mortgage, a common law, a qualified estate under a conditional conveyance. Mortgage deed, a deed given by way of security, a mortgage. And then the mortgagee, the person to whom a mortgage is made. And that is our grantee. And the mortgagor is our grantor. The mortgagee in possession, a mortgagee in possession, or the grantee in possession. And it was a mortgage of patent. A mortgage of a patent right, the recording of which in the patent office is in accordance with the federal statute is the equivalent of delivery of possession. Now, the branch of the patent office, or there is a branch office of the patent office, and it is called the Bureau of Vital Statistics, or the health record, or whatever, wherever they're controlling those documents, those mortgages. And then our mortgages, all of these, the certificate of live birth, the DD-214, the Social Security card, all of these, the driver's license, all of these items are mortgages. Okay? And basically you're signing as the grantor for the grantor, but you're also signing as the authorized representative for the grantor. So now you've attached the living to the fiction grantor. Because you should have been signing on behalf. That's the stipulation you need to make instead of playing around with this all rights reserved bullshit. That would have protected your ass more than anything else. Now, you've made all these mortgages. They end up in a mortgage pool, a trust created by the owners of several or even many mortgages in transferring the instruments to a trustee to hold for the benefit of the transferors, and you're the living or the transferors. And then these were a constructive mortgage, an instrument in the form of an absolute deed of real estate, but intended as a mortgage and being given as security for the payment of a debt. Even though there is no debt accrued yet. You placed it with the dead under a constructive mortgage. Now, the trustee is also a constructive trustee. That's state of Iowa or state of whatever, attorney general or U.S. trustee. They are constructive trustees. They're fraudulent trustees. They're paternal trustees. They're operating in a secret society. So they're trustee ex delicto. One charged as constructive trustee because of his own wrong. Or a trustee ex malefacto. A trustee from wrongdoing, the trustee of a trust arising by operation of law from a wrongful acquisition. A person charged as a constructive trustee because without right he has entered into possession or assumed the management of property belonging to another. We've been barking up the wrong tree in some of these regards because we've been following some of the wrong terminology out here. But now when you start coming back and looking at all these words, and I mean there should have been somebody on the group that should have caught me basically screwing up on quick claims. Because we don't want the quick claim to be given to our grantee. We want it returned to our grantor. Of course, everybody has been misled out here as going out and saying, well, it's the certificate of live birth person that's all capital, even though 99% of all the certificate of live birth documents that were originally on file have the person's name as capital first letters, small letters. That was not necessarily a dead person, but the Social Security card is definitely a dead person because it, in all cases, comes out in all capital letters. And that is the grantee. You can look up transfer, transferee, transferor, transferred by endorsement, transferred intent. Okay, that's a pretty good one because that carries criminally the principle whereupon one acting with a wrongful intent is held criminally responsible for an ensuing wrong which was not intended by him. And I went over to the patent office, okay, stating that basically that Bureau of Vital Statistics or that Bureau of Health Records or whatever it is basically a branch office of the patent office. Patent right, a right under a patent obtained for an invention held by the patentee or assignee. See, you assigned your patent right to the grantor. Now, he's going to do a reassignment back to you after he gets the ship back from the grantee. All of this stuff by the paternal society was a moral coercion. coercion. A form of duress, taking undue advantage, oppression, moral law, okay? And this was a good one. I don't know if you ever, there's some books out there by some of the great authors. I just happen to have gotten one of the complete sets from one of those sort of like Encyclopedia Britannica type setups. And basically one of the guys was Kant, C-A-N-T. And his book is very worthwhile in reading. It's all on moral law. This moral law is the eternal and indestructible sense of justice and of right written by God on the living tablets of the human heart and revealed in his holy word. That is your moral understanding, what is written on your heart and your spiritual understanding is moral law, knowing right from wrong. Moral turpitude, I've gone over this before, is baseless, vileness, depravity. And there's a term, crime involving moral turpitude. And there's a good movie out there by Bruce Willis stating the crime involving moral turpitude. And it is called surrogate. Okay? Because is what you have with that grantee is a surrogate operating in your position. The usage of a surrogate grantees is a crime involving moral turpitude when it comes down to it. Surrogacy just doesn't involve a surrogate mother, which is one of the definitions you'll find in, basically it was outlawed in some of the acts. But, no, the grantees are our surrogates that we have out here. And they are totally against everything that is moral, just, and right. Because it is in the dead, world of the dead, and they do not know right and wrong. Okay, revocation of agency. Okay, and I had to add a couple items in here so you can look it up. The termination of the relationship of principal and agent by the principal or by the agent. That's what a revocation of agency is. Now, you redo it, and it's the termination of relationship of principal, transferor, okay, that's the principal, is the transferor, and agent is the trustee, is that attorney general. And you're going to do a revocation of the agency. You're also going to do a revocation of franchise. The termination of a franchise by exercise of a reserved power of termination. And then revocation of guarantee, Guaranty. The termination of a guarantor of a continuing guarantee or of his offer to guarantee, okay, with an EE, an obligation to be incurred at a future time. You're no longer going to be the guarantee for these fraudulent mortgages. For continuing to try and bury the dead, you let the dead bury the dead. At least that's what the Bible said. Relook at fraudulent again. That which is done with intent to defraud. Fraudulent conversion. Fraudulent conveyance. Fraudulent mortgage. A mortgage fraudulent as to the creditors of the mortgagor. Your fictional person is the mortgagor, your grantor. You are the creditor. So a fraudulent mortgage is basically a mortgage fraudulent as to the creditor, you, of the mortgagor. You're the lord of your grantor. Fraudulent representation. And see, that's what they're getting you in a lot of cases, is under a fraudulent representation. The purpose of which is to deceive. They get you into being the representative in fraud, in their fraud. It's a fraudulent transfer, a transfer voidable in bankruptcy because made with actual intent to hinder, delay, or defraud existing or future creditors, or a transfer fraudulent in law. You can read the rest of it. Holographic will. A will that is entirely written and signed by the testator in his own handwriting. The requirement of attestation is not imposed in the case of a holographic will, since a successful counterfeit of another's handwriting is exceedingly difficult, and the requirement that the instrument be in the testator's own handwriting is significant protection against forgery. That means you don't have to have any attestation witnesses to your will. Will and wish, a prerogative term. You can look that one up. Now, here's a good one. S-T-A-R-E, first word. Second word, D-E-C-I-S-I-S. The doctrine or principle that decisions should stand as precedents for guidance in cases arising in the future. A strong judicial policy that the determination of a point of law by a court will generally be followed by a court of the same or a lower rank in a subsequent case which presents the same legal problem, although different parties are involved in the subsequent case. The greatest set of decisions that is out there is right in the Bible. And as the Bible is a foundation, a foundational set of laws and decisions for the constitutional government of this country, they would stand up in any court action. The decision that was made by Moses in the court of the Pharaohs, the decisions that were made by Jesus, the decisions that were made by Daniel, all in court. They were all court actions. They have the precedents set in law because that Bible is a law book. Now, what you do, and I'm trying to do, a reconveyance of demise. As the grantee, parentheses, thing of this demise document and all demising attachments do here and now surrender this quick claim mortgage deed back to the grantor thing. If you want to put left half-ass and right half-ass in there, go ahead. Okay, it should be properly classified as a constructive mortgage of patent to be held, to be held in the mortgage pool by the constructive trustee. Okay, I've got to reword that a little. But something along that lines. That's where it's being held right now. Okay? And then, so you're going to come in rem, the in rem grantee, mortgagee or / surrenderer, and then your name in all capital, okay, which is the left half, okay, the bad thief, witness my hand on his behalf. And you are now a competent attesting witness, Mr. Patrick Devine. And I will sign that for him on his behalf. As the grantor thing, I accept the reconveyance of the quitclaim mortgage deed, of this quitclaim mortgage deed, as it was based upon constructive fraud. And at this time, I am reassigning the assets or whatever back to the original transferor. Okay? which is you, the living person. And then again, in rem, grantor, surrenderee / reassignee, and then capital first letter, Patrick, and capital first letter, divine, as the good thief on the right. And then witness my hand on his behalf, and then I sign again as competent testing witness, Mr. Patrick Divine. And then I come down below, and I accept the reassignment. So it's a reconveyance and reassignment. Instead of just reconveyance of demise, should be reconveyance and reassignment. And then you put that in and keep a copy in your court record. And then you put it under your court seal, and you send it in. And basically, you can also put a notation that you are doing the what the hell was that? Revocation of the agency. You're terminating the relationship with that Attorney General as the trustee. And if he don't comply, then basically he will be standing in contempt of court and sent him to jail. About time we got rid of some of these paternal organizations. I mean, basically back in the early stages of this country, several of the states had on their border that basically an attorney basically came across the border, they were to be hung. Same thing with a minister from a organized religious society, secret society, because they were all paternal entities coming in there that were going to defraud the people. That's their whole intent. Because they're working with the dead. They do not support the living in one iota. The attorney generals could have canceled all these damn mortgages for the people out here if they wanted to. But their brotherhood wouldn't allow them. Clandestine, okay? Secret, kept secret, especially for a fraudulent purpose. Usually an illegal or unworthy purpose. Clandestine introduction, an offense also known as smuggling or embracing all unlawful acts of concealment or other illegal conduct tending to show a fixed intent to evade the customs duty by subsequent passing the goods through the jurisdiction of the custom officials without paying the duties imposed upon them. Now you take out the custom officials and put in you in that place. and they're passing the goods through you so that they don't have to pay, and they turn around and make you pay their duties for them. Also, you can go into all the surrenders: surrender of franchise, surrender of charter, the dissolution or termination of the existence of a corporation by a formal act on the part of the corporation in yielding its charter to the sovereignty under which the corporation was created, and the acceptance of the same by the government. Well, I hate to tell you, but you're the government. Surrenderer, one who surrenders, a tenant who surrenders his copy hold. And basically, what do they have? They have a copy hold estate, because you continually get new copies out here. A new copy of the driver's license. You can get a new copy of the certificate of title to the vehicle. You can get a new copy of the certificate of live birth. It's all copies. So it's a copy hold estate to his Lord till the amends of the cesticate use. The Lord taketh notice of the surrenderer of his tenant. The surrenderee, the person for whom use a surrender was made by a tenant to his Lord. So your grantee is going to be the surrenderer or surrenderee. Your grantor is going to be the surrenderor back to you. Moratorium, okay, a period during which an obligator has a legal right to delay meeting an obligation. You normally have a 30-day moratorium on the item. Of being the obligator and processing it against the grantee and the trustee. They're the true obligators. So, forget the apostilles, okay? Because they're not going to deal with the living, and we don't need them, okay? Prior to all this stuff coming about, the people used to travel around with their own identification cards, stating who they were. Okay? I am. Okay? Pilot, I find no fault with this man. Okay? They didn't say they didn't find a fault with the fiction, but basically they found no fault with the man. Because they can't. The government was set up as a fiction. And fictions can only deal with fictions. You have your own court. and every kingdom always had its own courtyard. Because normally that's where you held your court. Then they also had a house attached to that courtyard. But see, that's where they turn around. They merged the two, and they didn't want to hold court out on the lawn at the courthouse. So basically, they moved it inside into the courthouse. But yet there are still things that take place outside in the courtyard. Like sheriff's sales. There's a lot of things out here that we have to take a look at, okay? And start really thinking about. Start sharing the knowledge. Start talking with one another, okay? To just sit there and be a listener ain't accomplishing anything. It's not really helping you whatsoever, okay? Because you have to build up your confidence in understanding of what's going on. And the only way you can do that is to get all of your senses into play. Now, are there any questions?
My one question, Patrick, is that it's the getting of the Social Security card that caused the quitclaim. That they presumed that we made the quitclaim to the grantee, to have the less ass.
No, basically the certificate of live birth was also a quitclaim.
Ah, okay.
Okay, but it was a quitclaim that basically was not being utilized very much until you got the other devices into place, like the driver's license and like the Social Security card, and then the certificate of title to the vehicle, then the marriage license, certificate there. All of these now became mortgages.
Okay.
But they had to have the foundation mortgage document on file.
Okay.
But also see that mortgage, that certificate of live birth basically was twofold. It was a transfer document and then a quitclaim document. You transferred it over to your grantor, and then your grantor, by having it deposited with the land patent, now they took and made that a quitclaim mortgage deed in the land patent, in the Bureau of Vital Statistics or whatever office. When it got registered there, because otherwise you had your initial one on file, transferring it over to the grantor at the county records office, the land record. So what did you need to have it at the Bureau of Vital Statistics? Because they were taking your rights away from you.
Right. So that's why
wasn't the one at the county that did it. It was the one at the land patent office. And that's the one that basically was the quitclaim deed when it was filed. See, think about these things. See, you present the question, and then I thought about it. I came up with the answer. Okay?
Yep.
That's what you guys have to start doing. The answer is sitting right in front of you. But you've got to talk it through. And basically then, as you talk, lo and behold, the words just might come into your mouth. Because you have the knowledge if you just draw upon it. Okay? Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay. Speak up.
Okay, so previously we had a tribunal will. Now we have a reconveyance and a reassignment, seemingly as part of this tribunal will, but a new one. So I see that. Now, in order to complete the process, we have to make the orders to the state treasurer and U.S. Marshals. Is that correct?
No. You forget them. We're going to the trustee, the Attorney General. Now, if the Attorney General don't comply, then we will turn around and go to the district court to have them issue the contempt of court charges against that Attorney General in his capacity as a constructive trustee. And then let the court issue the warrant for his arrest to the U.S. Marshals. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, but I guess if you're terminating your agency relationship, then where does he get the power to go and seize your assets?
He has to, as he is being terminated as trustee, now he has to release the assets. Clean up the books. Go in and read some items about trustee, actions of trustee.
Yeah, you're right. I should have thought about that.
Yeah, they have to clean up their account when you terminate them and hand over the account. The account's got to go somewhere, okay? And it's got to go back to you. As the principal, okay?
Patrick,
Yeah.
as I asked my question, Chris just put some verbiage about the escrow in the Skype group, and I asked him if he could join the call. He said he wasn't aware there was one. I asked him if he could join it. He says he's not really feeling well, but he'll be on the next call for sure.
Well, basically, I talked to him earlier, and he knew that the call was on tonight.
Okay, well, that's what he said to me.
And as far as escrow, it's nothing more than this mortgage pool, okay? That's
right.
all an escrow is, okay? So it's nothing really, anything more than what I've already addressed, okay? Just a few other different words, but basically we got enough words here, I think, to operate with right now.
Right. And the call he posted between you and him earlier was exactly that. It was clear from the call that you were both saying the same thing, almost.
Yeah. Well, he gets hung up on a lot of different things out there, and basically that, we know that it's all in the Attorney General's office, in their charitable trust that they're trying to operate. That's for their side of the ledger so that they don't have to pay any taxes. They turn around and revert all the taxes and everything out of that trust over to us, the living. to deprive us, to control the living people, to harm us. Okay? That is what the fraternal society is all about, is control, control, and control. Okay? They can get the money, okay, out here, but they want to control, and they want us into a state of servitude to them, to serving them.
Hello, we are not available now. Please leave your name and phone number after the beep.
Beep, beep.
I muted that.
Okay? So they, basically, that's all that they want. And see, that's the constructive side of the deal. It's all in fraud. It's all in this debt pledging system for their benefit. And then they have the monetary control out here over this because they have taken our assets away from us and gave us token money in return.
Mm.
Like I said, 1960, a Federal Reserve dollar equaled $1 in silver. At today's rate, that dollar of silver equals 17 to 18 Federal Reserve dollars. If you were making $2 an hour in 1960, you should be making right now at least a minimum of $36 to $34 an hour. But you're not. In some cases, some of these people are getting minimum wage. $5 to $6 or $7, whatever it is, I don't know what it is right now, an hour. That is less than 50 cents in 1960 money.
35 cents.
Or whatever, okay?
Yeah.
You don't have to step in and correct me, Tom, okay?
Okay.
Just let me go with what I'm saying, okay? I'm trying to give you the ascertaining of understanding of the value.
Right.
What has happened. And then everybody in this country turns around and sees that over in China, they're working for a quarter an hour, making all these tennis shoes and everything. But their quarter of an hour is more valuable than our $3 or $4 an hour here. Who's the one that is really the one that is being treated as the slave? The people in this country are really the ones that are being treated as the slaves. Just given token pittance, slave wages. Gasoline, 1960, about 18 to 21 cents a gallon, depending on if there's a gas war on or not. Gasoline today, 18 cents a gallon to 21 cents a gallon. In 1960 money, because you take that Federal Reserve dollar, that $3 a gallon that's out there in Federal Reserve, and you convert that back to 1960 silver dollar value, and it's 18 to 21 cents. It hasn't changed. McDonald's hamburger, still 15 cents. New car, 1960 value, $2,500. New car today, still $2,500. In 1960 value, people are so naive in understanding this because they can only think and operate within a time frame of 6 weeks to 6 months. That's the only span that they can retain in their mindset. Half of them can't even hold that mindset that long. And don't ever think about the past. To be able to go to the move forward. Great line in one of the Louis L'Amour books in there. The cowboy always turned around and looked over his shoulder to see it from the opposite direction in case he had to come back that way again.
Mm-hmm.
See where you've been so that you can go forward. But always retain that in your memory so that basically you do not want to go there in some cases. Some cases you may want to go back and revisit where you came through and take a different route at that point in time. That's what this whole process has been about. We've had to backtrack, look back at what we've done, and I do this constantly. I go back through my files and see what did I file under surrender, under revocation. How did I reword it, or how did I word it back then? What do I need to make the corrections to move forward? Okay, questions?
Yes, I have another question. You said that the grantor is living?
No, the grantor is one half of your ass.
Okay, that's what I thought.
If you got a living ass, then basically he's living. But he's just one half. He's either your right lobe of your ass or your left lobe of your ass.
I see. So he's like a living
asses.
fiction?
Huh?
So he's a living fiction?
No, he's an inanimate object. He is nothing but a name on a piece of paper. He's an account. He's a piece of toilet paper that you wiped off your ass either on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side of your ass, okay?
Okay.
I'm just trying to make a comical scenario here for you, okay? Don't get it out of control. The only person that is living is you. Everything else is a thing, okay? Just like Bill Bixby and Ferrigno in the movie The Thing. The Green Monster. The bad side. He could either be bad or he could be good. But it's a thing. Look up the word thing and things in the dictionary. And see, they're just inanimate objects. But they've used them and tried to claim that they're a person. And everybody out here has been jumping right on and saying that they're a person. They're a person. No, they're just an account. They're a thing on the mortgage, a name, in name only. That's another phrase that's out there quite a bit, in name only. And see, the only item that you get is when you sign as the authorized representative. Now you just put a body to that item. Your body. Okay? It didn't have a body before. It was just an inanimate object as an account. And all you had to do was give them authorization to go to the account. But see, most people go into court and argue the damn thing and then sign as an authorized representative coming in there. Then they're putting their body on the line for the action and letting the account off the hook. Yeah, if you come in as the authorized representative, you are now first in line for being the obligator. Prior to that, that account was the obligator. You just had to come in and give them permission to go to the account by entering on his behalf. Because on his behalf, you have not accepted the responsibility of being the obligator for him. You follow that?
Yes.
Okay. And see, that applies to both the grantor and the grantee, the good thief and the bad thief.
Pat, what about authorized signature?
Huh?
I said, what about authorized signature?
No. You basically sign on his behalf.
Or her. Can I put it
you don't,
on her behalf?
Yeah. Read what the definition in the dictionary says, okay? It refers to basically being authorized by him. He is authorizing you to sign for him when you say on his behalf.
Got it.
Okay? You try and be fancy and throw any other words in there, and like I said before, 90% of the time you're going to screw the damn thing up. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. Kiss it goodbye. Okay?
The other day when I was supposed to go into court, I actually faxed a letter into the court commissioner requesting a hearing by phone, and the signature was signed as by, and then Jennifer B. Kroshevsky, authorized signature, and I boxed that in.
No, you sign on behalf, okay? And basically, in most cases, you're going to say, basically, this document, if there's any taxes or anything like this, needs to be sent to the grant or the trustee over this mortgage pool account. And you are signing for on behalf of the grantee authorizing access to that account, if it is valid. You're authorizing the trustee to access the account if he determines that those documents are valid. Now, did you understand what I just said?
Yes.
Okay, you get a document, a tax bill, or whatever. You turn around and you sign it on behalf, but you forward that to the Attorney General's office as the mortgage pool trustee for that account number. And see, each one of these, the driver's license, the certificate of title to the house, if you got a property tax, it's coming in the name of that certificate of title. So it's going against that mortgage. But it's in the mortgage pool that is being held, which Chris was saying is the, what the hell was that term, Tom?
Escrow?
Escrow account, okay?
Yes.
And that's all that a mortgage pool is an escrow account, okay, for the payment of the bills. But see, just like that one judge was telling me, okay, and he complimented me. He said, I'm the only one that knows what the hell I really want. And he said that I filed numerous documents, okay, but the document that I submitted to him was totally wrong. So basically he said that it was undecipherable what I wanted because I had it in the wrong situation. I was trying to do a quick claim when the quick claims are already in place. We wanted to do a reconveyance, not a quick claim. We reconvey the quick claims back from the grantee back to the grantor and terminate them. So the judge was complimenting me, and I told him, hey, thank you for your compliment, but I still didn't have quite everything in the write-up that I sent back to him. But I had enough stuff that they know that basically, and I've thrown enough stuff at them that they know that I'm on to something here. And they're not going to try because I'm coming in the living. So they can't come after me when I'm doing all of this in the living capacity.
Mm-hmm.
See, the paper terrorism and stuff like that is only if you're coming in the fictional capacity. 99% of all these codes and everything out here are all against the fiction. And if you've separated yourself away from the fiction in a proper means, then basically you can file a library of documents into them, and you're not doing paper terrorism. But if all the documents come from that library come in from the fiction, oh hell, they're going to charge that fiction with paper terrorism. Even the IRS, basically, I totally get a bunch of shit from them, but basically, I've shot them down on subpoenas, saying, hey, I ain't coming up there. You want to see me? You come and see me. Well, see, they can't come and see the real person. The only person they could really want in that court is you to come in to be a representative of the fiction. Because then if you come in there under that subpoena, being the representative for the fiction, then now you are the obligator for that fiction. When you start understanding what's going on here, you can stand these people down. And we've had success at this, okay? We just haven't had the documents the right way to go in and properly close down the account or to access the account, and that we're there, okay? 90% of these other people that are claiming remedies and everything that they're getting, they're just getting a slight set-off, okay? A feel-good for right now, okay? So like you go to the casino out in Vegas, and basically you're winning, okay? And what do? They comp you a room for the night. They want to keep you there. Then you feel obligated to gamble a little more in that casino. And then the next day, you start losing. And get wiped out. See, that's what these people are going to do. They don't know the whole damn process. They may get the court to set off something for right now, but lo and behold, they're going to get hit with something even far worse down the road, and they're not going to have the understanding of how to set it off properly. We've seen this numerous times over and over again because we've tried a lot of these so-called remedies out here, and they haven't worked. Because in a lot of cases, we were trying to be in the individual, the independent side of the thing. Now, if we would have kissed their ass and basically begged and everything else to them, yeah, we might have gotten some other remedies. But then we would have been worse off down the road. So it's all what you want, okay? It's up to you. I can't tell you what to do. It's your choice. I'm only throwing this one out as the choice that I am making because I have a strong feeling it's the right choice, the truth. Because everything that I've looked at is all founded upon all of the laws of the great law book called the Bible, of which this country was founded upon in order to try and keep these damn stinking fraternal secret societies out of this damn country. Now, one of the guys in John, okay, in the Bible, in the New Testament, how many crosses were there on Calvary? In most cases, they only call out 3. Okay? The good thief, the bad thief, and the center one. Okay? In the process. Well, in John, it calls out 5 crosses on Calvary. So that would be 2 good thieves, 2 bad thieves, and the center cross in the process. And the guy asked me, well, what do you think that means? I said, well, basically that is it's obvious that it is calling out that there's a good thief and a bad thief for the state and a good thief and bad thief for the church. That goes right along with what we have in present time right now of separation of church and state. Because if you've got a baptismal certificate, you have a good and a bad thief for that, and it's a mortgage. There again, a quick claim mortgage deed, same process, and the vicar generals are the trustees over that account, over that mortgage trust. And then they added more mortgages on under like confirmation in the Roman Catholic Church, or communion, or marriage license, or orders to be a deacon or whatever, a nun or whatever. And they added more mortgages into that same mortgage pool. This whole mortgage pool system came from the Church of Rome, brought over here into this country in the secret society organization known as the Scottish Freemasons under Albert Pike. And then under the Bar Association by way of the Bank of England. And that's these fraternal organizations, these feritic. And that's what fraternal basically is. It's a feritic fraternity right out of Egypt. And you see, it was also in place in Babylon. Abraham came out of it. You can find that in the Bible if you know how to look and make the proper deciphering of the metaphors used at that point in time. So anyway, we've got, and then like if you're in the military, you've got another set of good thief and bad thief crosses on your cavalry. So you've got 7 crosses. You've got the military fraternal society, the good thief and the bad thief set of crosses. And those would be the 3 main ones. Okay, back to any questions. Okay, call it quits, Tom. No questions. Okay? Tom, you there?
I had my microphone muted, yes.
Huh?
I had my microphone muted, yes. I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you very much. A lot of food for thought here. We'll get right to work on it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Try and listen to the call there from the first part and go through those word definitions. When I get access to the facts, then later on, I don't know when.
Okay. Yes. Some people came on the call. Some people came on the call late, so it's going to really pay for you to get this call. I'll have it up in a few minutes, so you can listen to it.
Okay. Yeah, I came on late. That was me.
Some other people did too. I'll see you. Okay. Thank you, Patrick.
Okay. You take care. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.